Hey everybody. Hi, hi, hi. I'm back. I'm happy to be here as always. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that's pretty close to my heart. I gotta admit, I love the Marvel movies and the Marvel TV shows. Not every single one, but a whole lot of them. And I've watched all of them. I gotta admit, I've watched all of them. So in today's talk, um, I want to be talking about these shows because I think. Well, first, let me say welcome to another Building Visibility live stream. Okay, and I want to say that as a kid, I loved Marvel comics. So I think in many ways, Stanley was ahead of his times with the themes and the topics he touched on them. But as an adult, watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe bring those characters to life on the big screen and tie it in with their television features on the little screen, at least for the first few years, has been absolutely amazing for me. And I'll admit, like I said, I've seen all of them. Even if I haven't loved every single one of them, I've seen every single one on TV and in the movies. And I know that unless you've been asleep under a big rock somewhere since 2008, you've at least heard of their movies. Even if, and this is like really hard for me to imagine, but I know it happens. Even if you haven't seen any of them, you've heard of them because the movies have been hugely popular. They portray all of these superheroes, people with and without any special powers, as humans first. And so many of us can resonate with their struggles when we're looking with them at them as humans. So in today's talk, Walking in the Shadow of Captain America, Lessons Learned from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I want to talk about three of these heroes in particular and the lessons we can take away from them in our own struggles to claim our visibility and power, to conquer our self doubts, and live into our purpose. And believe me, there's real lessons here. Now, some of you know exactly who I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, let me just share a little bit about who these guys are. Okay, because these three guys have a really complex relationship that evolves over the years of the Marvel movies. So let me start with Steve Rogers because he's the one known as Captain America. And he's seen as the epitome of heroism and righteousness in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was a frail, skinny kid that was really determined to serve in World War II. And so he volunteered for this top secret experiment, which transformed him into this super soldier known as Captain America. Like he literally took a serum and it changed who he was to give him extra strength and speed and stamina and so on. Now, throughout his journey, he embodies values of courage and sacrifice and unwavering integrity despite being a man out of time. And I say out of time because he fought in World War II. And during World War II, there was an incident where he had to go down in a plane and he ended up frozen in ice for decades and then revived and brought out into the modern world. So he's trying to deal with all of the changes from when he was in the world to what we live with in our modern world. And he's constantly trying to figure it out and figure out his way. So, but he never wavers in who he is. Now, so that's him. Then there's Sam Wilson. And I identified immediately with Sam Wilson. He's known as the Falcon, right? But Sam is a young black man from Louisiana, and my family's from Louisiana. And he also served in the military as a pararescue man. And he's working in Washington trying to help ex-military members cope with PSD and re-enter civilian life and, doing the hard work when he meets Captain America. And soon he becomes a loyal ally and friend, and they work together. And then last but not least, there's Bucky Barnes. And Bucky was a childhood friend of Steve's, and they fought together in World War II. But then there was an incident where Bucky was killed. He was presumed dead. And then he comes back and he's a brainwashed assassin known as the Winter Soldier. And he comes into contact with Captain America because he's supposed to stop him. And he's actually a super soldier just like Captain America. So they're able to fight, hammer, 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 hammer together, like tit for tat. But Captain America never loses faith in his friend Bucky. And that faith in him really helps restore Bucky. And so these three guys share this deep bond because Sam becomes friends with Bucky as well. And they rely on each other for both friendship and support, right? And yet, we know nothing lasts forever, right? So when Captain America retires and passes on his shield, both Sam and Bucky are faced with their own personal struggles and challenges. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, because that's where we learn our lessons at looking at the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and how they move forward. So for Sam, he gets this really hard decision because when Captain America retires, he passes the shield and the mantle of Captain America to Sam Wilson. And for him, the decision to take that on is totally caught up with self-doubt and uncertainty. And to add to that, he's got to deal with this as being a Black man and the weight of systematic racism and that daunting task of living up to the legacy of Captain America and being true to himself. But despite these challenges, he embarks on this journey of self-discovery and resilience, and he is determined to honor this, right? And it takes him a while because at first he just gives up the shield and he goes into the hands of someone that doesn't deserve it. Now, Bucky, in the meantime, is struggling to reconcile his troubled past as the Winter Soldier with his desire for redemption, right? Because he's haunted by all the memories of his actions under Hydra's control as the Winter Soldier. And he's really struggling with this. He's got all this guilt and remorse. But Steve and Sam has been helping him come to grips and go on this journey of self-healing and begin to make amends for his past. So these are the things they're struggling with. They're really struggling with it hard because how do you get beyond this? How do you move forward? And for Bucky, Captain America's faith in him is what helps him move forward. And so, sometimes when you don't believe in yourself, you can borrow someone else's belief in you until you can believe in yourself. And while he's learning, he's believing that he can make this divide because Captain America saw something in him. He can't understand why Sam doesn't believe in the same way, the belief that Captain America had in him to be able to move forward and to take on that mantle because Captain America believed he could do it. So they're really struggling with this. And the thing that made me know that was so powerful for me is that Sam had to go through all of these struggles, continuing to challenge the things that he was going through throughout this battle. And in the end, when he finally decides to take on the mantle and become it, he's looking at these people that are like looking at him like, how dare you? And he's in his final speech, one of the things he said, because he's doing this with no superpowers, no serums, no nothing, just him doing the job. And one of the things he said is, every time I pick this thing up, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. Even now, here, I feel it. He's saved the world at this point. Even here, now, I feel it. The stares, the judgment, and there's nothing I can do to change it. I'm still here, right? And he went on to say, we need new heroes, one suited for the times we in. Symbols are nothing without the women and men that give them meaning. We built this country, bled for it, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me I can't fight for it. Not after what everybody before me went through, including you. These are things he said in his final lessons. And it was powerful for me because the lessons I took from it was he had the courage to challenge injustice. And he demonstrated the courage to challenge systematic injustices despite facing his own personal doubts. He was courageous. And you can't be visible without being courageous, no matter what the odds are. You have to be able to be willing to stand up. And he did that. And he did it despite societal pressures from everybody. He made it happen. And his willingness to confront that, the racism, the inequality, all serves as a reminder to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. He embraced his identity. He embraced legacy. He accepted the mantle of Captain America. And he took on what came before him. His journey teaches us the importance of embracing our heritage and using it as a source of strength and inspiration, which I talk about in my 10 principles of accepting your strengths and your differences, because that's what makes you who you are. So he led by example as the new Captain America. He embodied the values of compassion, integrity, and inclusivity. I cannot say that word, but including everyone. And his actions inspired others to stand up for justice and to strive for a better world. And that's demonstrating the power of leadership through service, which we do when we can be fully who we are, be our authentic selves, and stand on our own power, right? And then we had Bucky. And there's lessons from the Winter Soldier's actions too, because he was seeking redemption. His journey was one of getting atonement for his past actions as the Winter Soldier. His commitment to making amends and seeking forgiveness teaches us the importance of acknowledging our mistakes and taking responsibility for our actions, because we can't move forward without doing that. We need the forgiveness, and we need to take the responsibility, and we need to forgive others. So forgiveness helps you move forward, right? It also highlights the importance of healing from trauma and finding closure, because he got therapy and he had support, but he learned to confront his demons and move forward with his life. And that's important because it shows that it's possible to overcome even the deepest wounds. So no matter how long and how badly you've been filling yourself with negative self-talk and believing the negative stories about yourself, you can change it. You can overcome it, and you can become the best version of yourself if you're willing to do the work to make that happen. So the other part is he forged connections, right? So he had this troubled past, but he still formed meaningful connections with others that demonstrated the power of friendship and camaraderie and his willingness to let people help, because none of us are an island and none of us can do it all alone. Sometimes you have to ask for help, and he was willing to do that, and it helped him so much. These are just some of the quotes and the lessons that I found in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because they all serve as powerful reminders to me of the resilience, courage, and humanity displayed by these characters, but also inspiring us to strive for greatness in our own lives. You don't have to be a superhero to apply these lessons. You just have to be courageous enough to be you. I hope this helped. I hope you guys got something out of this. And Fran is saying she doesn't even remember the Falcon. So yes, you if you want to see him, he's introduced in the Civil War, um, in the Civil War one with Captain America. So I think that's number 2. This is this has been a pleasure for me, and I hope you guys all got something out of it. And I'm so happy you were here with me. And I'll talk to you next time. See ya.